Okay, so today, as you can see, I've changed locations. This is because I had to start working and recording these videos at about 6 p.m. So I hope it's fine, but the video I'm going to make today is about doing the hard work, but this is more of like a philosophical video. So it's basically just about my view of life. I've talked to a lot of people who said that like their point of life is to get as much enjoyment now as possible, that it's okay to do stupid things, and I can see why they think as they do, but I disagree. And there's this quote: men learn from their mistakes, but wise men learn from the mistakes of others. And I really like that quote because I personally think that it would be very stupid to know something is wrong but still do it. So, for example, if I talk to some people who maybe got addicted to drugs and fucked up their life, I wouldn't go, oh, I have to test that myself because I don't want to ruin my life by getting addicted to drugs. And I think it's kind of the same with basically any other situation. So if someone wiser than you tells you, I've tried this, please don't do that, I think you should at least listen in some way, because you wouldn't know how it feels like to have done that thing, and you can still learn from their mistakes if you speak to them about it. Like, okay, why didn't that feel good? Why don't you want me to do that thing? And then try to listen. Of course, you shouldn't always listen to what they're saying, because it's not everybody who tries to bring you up. A lot of people tries to bring you down to make themselves feel better. So you need to find out who you can trust. And I think a lot of normal people, ordinary people, they do this subconsciously, where they, to make themselves feel better, try to put you down, bring you down. And that's not the most effective way of getting a satisfaction in life. The satisfaction and the feeling of fulfillment isn't as good whatsoever, because you're doing something destructive instead of doing something productive. And you could use the analogy that there's two ways to build the highest building in the world. One way is to build a building and then try to demolish every other building that comes close to your height. That's one way. But the other way is to build the highest building. It's that simple. You shouldn't be focusing on putting other people down. You should instead try to focus on bringing yourself up, because you will get a taller building by focusing only on your own building. And it's practically impossible to destroy every other building in the world. Everyone is doing it just a little bit. So if you could start to look inwards before you judge other people and try to think, am I actually doing this? Am I putting other people down? Chances are you probably are. So the first thing is to stop doing that and focus on yourself instead. But then after that, you can sort people out who are focusing too much on bringing other people down instead of actually bringing themselves up, because you can't trust those people with advice like that. People who are trying to bring themselves up actually also wants to bring you up, because the best drive, at least for men, is competition. So I want you to do better, because if you do better, I have to do even better than that. And my goal is to do as best as possible. If your building is 1,000 miles higher than the next guy's building, you probably won't work as hard as if he's 50 meters away. So competition is also one of the most important things for both building the largest building, but also for winning in life and doing the best you can there. But back to who we can trust. I think you need to judge people on like view of life, because if you agree with their view of life and then you take advice from them, that's perfectly sound. But if you have two different points of view to life, you should at least try to think about it before taking that advice. But I think everybody does that, so it's probably not necessary that I say this. It's probably the other way around, where you have a hard time taking other people's advice because it kind of feels wrong. For example, if your parents say, please don't do this, I did that when I was young and I regret it, a lot of people might think, oh yeah, but I'm not like you. But you could still trust your parents with a lot of things because they want the best for you, of course, in almost every case, but it can also be kind of irritating to be told by your parents what to do and what not to do. So I would advise that you also find someone else to trust. It could be a good friend, it could be me. Um, if you want some of the same results I've gained throughout the last 2 to 3 years, a pretty good advice would be to follow me because I've done the things that you need to do to get to my level. But if you don't want to do that, that's perfectly fair because there's nobody else who gets to decide who you have to trust. But it would be kind of logical that you follow someone who has the results you want in life and is also giving advice on what not to do. Because if I give you advice on what not to do, you probably could get to my place in life faster than I did. And that would be pretty great, right? Because obviously you want results, but you also want results as fast as possible, I would guess at least. You don't go to the gym because you want to get buff in 20 years. You want to get buff in like 3, right? And I know that doesn't sound like fast, but some things just take time. But it's way better to spend 3 years in the gym and look absolutely jacked than to spend the next 5, 10, maybe even 15 years trying to get jacked and not really getting that jacked anyway. I think that was all for my video, so thank you for watching.